Hello, my fellow Torchics. This is BlazikenBlitz here, and today we're actually gonna do something. So, I had a failed recording of this. It wasn't that long. It was just me realizing I had a cheat code on and having to redo the last episode's events. Not that difficult, but whatever. So, as you can see here on the map screen, we've got Area 1, and we've got Area 2. I mean, Entrance Hall. But you can see all the areas there. Spoiler alert. And you can go into the entrance hall here. And you have 5 options. You have return to title screen. You can configure a few settings. You can save data, which I've already done. You can go to the shop, which doesn't really make much of a difference because we don't have any extra MP. And we can manage monsters. Let's take a look at the monsters we have so far. As you can see, we've got 10 monsters. We go into our monster collection. We've got light, dark, fire, water, earth, wind, wood, thunder, back to light. So we've got a few types of monsters, not too many. Here we have fire grass. And also in fire we have flame viper, as shown. Over in wind we now own back controls. Over in wind we now own Drollbird. We own Kurama. And we own Wicked Dragon with the ersatz head. So with those monsters in hand, we are going to go to Joey Wheeler and see if we can take him on. I think that's a good idea. I'm sure you guys do too. I'm recording this one on the same night that I'm recording the first one, so whatever. Alright, Area 1. As you can see here on this screen in Area 1, you have your attribute, your Yami Yugi. You have the stage that you're going to be in, and you have your opponent with their attribute. You can press circle to return back to the select area screen. You can press X to start, and you can press triangle to see the details of the stage before you go into it, which is helpful if you want to look at the stage hazards or something, which will become readily apparent as I continue here. Loading screens. Don't you just love loading screens? They're just obnoxious as all get out. Now, this has a tendency to lag a little bit, especially during the duels. But hey, here we've got some dialogue.
Joey, the one and only. And don't think I'm gonna take it easy on you just because you're my friend. I'm not holding anything back.
Then let's get started, Joey.
Saw a little bit of a lag spike there. Not too bad. Alright. Here at the start of the battle, you get to choose a card, and that will determine who gets to choose the attack order. So I'm going to choose this right here, and I get the higher card. It's randomized between 1 and 8. 8 being the highest and also the card that can always win. And 1 being the lowest and the card that always loses. When you win the card battle, whoever wins gets to choose whether to attack first or attack second. If you attack first, you just attack first. You get the advantage as it comes to strategy and all that. But if you attack second, not only do you get to play better defensively, but you also get to choose which side of the field that you get to play on. So naturally, most of the time I like to attack second. So I get to choose this side or this side. Personally, I like Joey's normal side better because it allows you to just kind of... It has a lot more space for you to place monsters. Here's a bit of tutorial.
Okay, I'll select my monsters to play with.
Wait a sec.
What's wrong, Yugi?
There's a limit on which monsters you can use, which is determined by monster points.
This is a different monster points than previous, but it's related. So, the monster points that a monster costs in the shop is also its cost here, but the monster points that you give to your symbol at the beginning they don't affect this at all. These monster points are fixed for every specific stage.
You mean the points I pay in order to get monsters?
Yeah. Each stage has a set limit of monster points, and the total monster points of the monsters cannot exceed the limit.
I see. That means if the monster point limit of the stage is 100, then I can use 10 monsters that are 10 monster points each.
If only there were monsters with 10 monster points each.
Or I can only use 5 monsters if they are 20 monster points each.
Also basic math.
That's right. So you have to think carefully about the balance of which monsters to use.
Okay. Thanks, Yugi.
So, that tutorial doesn't matter much here, because you're limited to so few monsters. If you pick something with 100 MP in a stage where you're trying to pick 6 monsters on 270, you're not going to get very far. So you just gotta, on this stage, pick all of your cheapest monsters, and sometimes you won't be able to actually do anything with them. So that gives you freedom to just kind of experiment with changing up your monsters a bit. It doesn't give you much ways to be different here, but that'll change sooner than later. Alright, so after you choose your monsters, you get to choose where to place your symbol. I personally like placing it in a corner that's far, far away from the enemy, because the symbol is basically the king of the chess game. If it gets knocked out, you lose the game automatically. Which can be useful in some scenarios, but many other times you're going to want to knock out all of the opponent's pieces, rather than actually taking out their symbol. Now, this gives you the opportunity to either manually place each monster individually, or just randomly place them depending on where your symbol is placed. Random place, usually much easier to do, usually doesn't place your monsters in a terrible fashion. Later on, we'll see more reasons to manually place, but for now, there's not much reason to. And then, now your opponent gets to choose where to set their monsters. As you can see, Joey has 4 fire monsters. And because I chose to attack second, he gets to go first.
All right, buddy. Get on the bus, because I'm taking you to school.
And what he just did was summon a monster using the AP that he had.
I'm your friend. But if you keep me waiting any longer, we're enemies.
Oh my. Ah, Joey and his impatientness.
It's my turn.
Yes, it is your turn.
Hey, in order to move your pieces...
I see. Each piece has a set requirement of AP. And if I move it, then the AP on the screen decreases, correct?
Yep. And if you don't have enough AP, then you can't move your pieces anymore.
So I have to be careful about the amount of AP when thinking about how to move my pieces.
Uh-huh. But first, you can't move anything if you don't summon monsters from your capsules. So you have to choose which monsters to summon.
You're right. Okay.
There's the game's tutorial about that. They pretty much give you a tutorial about almost everything. This is the stage where they do it. So I apologize if I become silent during some parts, because really this is the tutorial stage. You're meant to beat up Joey pretty bad. Sometimes I don't do that, but we'll talk about that if it happens. Anyway, I was able to summon 4 monsters. I wasn't able to summon all of them because I didn't have enough AP.
You're gonna see what Joey Wheel is all about.
I'm sure we will, Joey. I'm sure we will. And there Joey is moving his pieces. We'll learn more shortly.
Hey, right now you saw the AP increase, right?
What? Yes, you are correct.
Where it says AP on the screen, there's a number with a plus sign next to it.
Yes. This number must be the amount of AP that increases on my turn.
Yeah, and if you summon a monster, it'll increase.
That means either I move a summoned monster, or I summon so that I can move more pieces. That's something I need to think about.
It's important to make a decision based on the situation.
As they were saying, you can see, I think I'm using my mouse right here, there's a monster stat screen for each monster you have here. As you can see, Firegrass, it requires 50 AP to move or summon. It adds 30 AP to your plus bar up there. And it's got its defense and health stats for its capsule, which are actually different than the monster itself. You are able to destroy a capsule much easier than you would, say, a monster. Okay, now that Firegrass is summoned, we can see that there's an attack stat, a defense stat, a proper HP stat, movement, and attack. So that shows you how much range it has. The cross over there means it's got 3 vertical, so it can move 1, 2, 3 vertical, and attack 1 horizontal. I can show you with Drollbird, who has pretty much the same, only it's 4 horizontal. The orange spaces are its range of attack, and the blue spaces are its range of movement. So as you can see, when I move something, there's a, when I go in a specific space, it pops up with an attack +4 and a defense +1. That's actually showing me what the terrain does to affect my monster. As I'm sure we'll get another notification about in a minute, because this is a -4 attack one.
Its ability decreased.
That terrain is not good for your piece's attribute.
If the terrain is unfavorable, then its ability decreases. But if the terrain is favorable, then the ability increases.
Yeah, you can check by looking at your piece's ability.
I see. I should be on the same terrain as my attribute as much as possible.
It changes depending on the situation, but it's worth remembering.
Definitely. Alright, so let's look at what Yugi wanted us to look at. I believe that's square. It allows you to pull up the attributes that the land actually gives and what the map gives. But if you press triangle... No, that's not what I was looking at. You press X on the monster and then look at capability. You can see their stats here. So as you can see, Kurama gets that blue arrow under attack from my symbol, which is a raise. And it also gets a boost from the map from the darkness and wind attributes. And it gets a boost in defense from the wind attribute. So as you can see, the map not only gives boosts, but also the landforms and your symbol all give different boosts. And here is another way to look at the range of your monsters before you decide to move them. And when you have moved all of your pieces, except for your symbol, which you can move, but there's not much point to it most of the time, you can press X on an empty space and end your turn. As you can see, Joey is summoning his 4th of 4 of the same monster. It's pretty standard of Joey, really. And you can go over to his monsters and look at their abilities as well. So you can see he has 4 Fire Reapers, all level 1 that require 55 AP to move. They have 157 attack, 8 defense, 174 health, and move 2 forward and attack 2 forward or to the sides. So that's always useful to know. You want to be able to keep track of where your monsters can, where his monsters can attack at all times, because it can be very useful to formulating your strategy. And this game doesn't have anything that will allow you to look at your enemy ranges, so you have to kind of figure them out on your own. For example, he can move here and here, and then attack here and here. So I know that this space is safe. And now I just want to move my snake over here and my fire grass over here. And I don't feel like moving my Kurama at the moment, so I'm going to just end my turn. And it looks like we're about to get a field hazard. And Joey is freaked out by it. So field hazards, basically every stage has some sort of thing that activates.
What? You can't be serious. This can't happen.
And it'll affect the landforms, the map, in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes it actually affects the geography of the map, sometimes it only affects the attributes that the map covers. It really all depends on the map, and so you can never be entirely sure what a map's going to do until you've played it. This one increases the amount of water on the stage, which freaks Joey out because he only has fire monsters. So you can move 1-2 and attack 1-2. So I believe you are safe here. And the others aren't in range. So it'd be a good idea to move my other monsters closer without moving my droll birds so that they're not in the way of him attacking. And I can just end my turn. Also on this, there is a unit list where you can look at a list of your units, and the ones that aren't that are shaded are the ones you have moved, and the ones not shaded are the ones you haven't. You can access the attribute chart from here if you wish. You can surrender if you want, and you can configure your limited options here as well. And so Joey gets to move again. Now sadly, this process doesn't get any quicker. You just kind of have to play it by ear. You have to wait for basically your enemy to make some mistake if you don't want to get hit first. So a lot of the time, it's a big game of waiting, which can be tedious, definitely. But it's never that bad, because eventually someone has to make the first move. And Joey's going to be forced to now that the water's getting even more. As you can see here, it's flooding, and flooding the stage even more, making the effectiveness of fire types on these water spaces even more widespread. So Joey finally decides to make his first move here. That actually puts his monster in danger of getting hit. And I am perfectly happy about that happening. Now, let's see if any of his monsters can actually hurt me from where I want to go. It doesn't seem like Firegrass can get hurt. Oh, no. Yeah, you can get hurt from here. So the best thing to do would be to move Kurama back, move Firegrass forward, and attack from here. So this is the damage screen. As you can see, there's my attack stat in the yellow and how much damage I'm going to deal to his health in red. His health is the number below the red, and you can see my attack stat and defense stat, and his defense stat in the blue and red boxes below. Now, the 162 out of 155 just means that I have a boost of some sort. And now I'm going to attack once with the battle animation on. I don't deal with the battle animations much because they take way too much time. But here's an example of what you'd be seeing with the battle animations. I mean, they're okay. They're not great. Really, what you care about is seeing the enemies damaged. So, I can show all of these later if need be. Right now, it's not that big of a concern. And as you can see, I do enough damage to take out his monster. So there's this big destroy sign over his monster, which is always very, very relieving. And now I can turn the battle animation off with R1 and attack. And now I have destroyed his monster.
I wouldn't expect anything less, Hugh.
Good, Joey, because there's a lot more where that's coming from. Alright, so you can attack here, 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 here. I'll move one forward. And I will end my turn here.
I'm not gonna give up till the very end.
I don't know about that one, Joey. So he's moving his Fire Reapers a little bit.
Victory's in my reach.
I'm not sure about that, Yugi. Not quite yet. What I could do is be really risky and go over there, but my monster would be destroyed, and there is a penalty for that. So I'm gonna end my turn and wait for him to make a move. I'm sure my Drollbird's gonna get hit, but that's okay. It can take one hit. And as you can see, the attack thing goes in reverse as well.
Win it quick and slick. That's my motto.
Good job, Joey.
Then let's get started, Joey.
I like Joey. He's a fine character.
I wasn't concentrating, and I paid for that.
Don't tell me whether I was concentrating or not, Yugi. I know whether I was concentrating or not. I chose to do that, Yugi. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Alright. So it is my turn again. I have all my monsters intact, but this time we have to take a more offensive stance to everything, because now all of his monsters are right here. So I attack with Flame Viper here.
Man, you're not gonna let up. Not even a little bit, are you?
Nah. There's no point, Joey. I gotta win this. I attack with my Firegrass here. And that'll take out his Fire Reaper.
Okay. It's the bottom of the ninth. I gotta make my move now or it's over.
Nice baseball analogy there. Okay, so I'm not liking Kurama's options here. I'm not liking any of my options at the moment. I might just, let Drollbird die here. Because it's a lot easier for Drollbird to die and then one monster get hit than for another monster to be ganged up on by these two. Which the computer is very, very satisfied with doing.
No way!
Yes way, Joey. Yes way. My way or the highway. No, moving that there would be a bad idea. Moving this here, however, would still be a bad idea. Let's just keep the things the way they are and end my turn. And as you can see, a lot of field effects also reverse as well. Now the stage is starting to flood a little less. And so the water's starting to die down a little bit. This happens with a lot of field effects. They will completely reverse and then they'll go back depending on how much time you're using during the stage. Oh, I'm still gonna get ganged up on my Flame Viper, aren't I? Oh, that's a shame.
That was a lot of damage, but it survived.
You need to get used to these sayings because Yamayuki uses them a lot.
You're pincushion!
Pincushioned, huh? I see.
You're doing better than I thought, Joey.
And it's more where that came from.
Burn.
I'm just getting warmed up, Yugi.
I'm sure you are, Joey. I'm sure you are. Alright. Let's see if I can finish this battle right now. I'm not sure if I can. I don't think I can. But it's worth a try. I can take you out.
Nah, this isn't looking good.
No, I can only take one of you out at a time. That's honestly kind of a shame. I have to keep this going for another turn. This probably honestly means another monster dead, but whatever. I'm still gonna win this battle, so I guess it doesn't matter in the end. I'm gonna move you over here and attack this guy. And he'll probably kill my Droll Bird, and then I'll be able to end the battle from there. Maybe. I mean, he's got a very injured monster. It's a very easy thing to do. Yeah, I'll be able to end the battle. But there goes a Droll Bird too. That's kind of a shame, honestly. I was hoping I'd do better against Joey, but I did enough. I did enough to win, and that's all that matters. So, Firegrass is going to come in here. He's going to attack Joey's last monster, and I destroy his last monster.
Finish you.
And that's what Yamayuki says every single time you're destroying the last monster or the symbol. So, again, get used to that, too. Dramatic zoom in, and boom.
It's all over.
And with that, we have victory. And more dialogue.
I'm lost, Yugi.
But Joey, you fought valiantly.
Yeah, I guess I did. Maybe that's why I don't feel that bad that I lost.
It's true.
Now you, don't you be losing any other duels, alright?
I don't plan on it, Joey.
Of course. I won't let you down.
And with that, what I haven't mentioned is that all monsters gain experience every time they destroy or attack another monster. Here's where we gain MP to be able to buy monsters from the shop. And after every battle, there's extra EXP given out to every monster that survived, including the symbol, which will be useful later on. And also, after you defeat any of the characters, you get to take 2 of their monsters after defeating them. With Joey, since I'm a fire attribute, I get to take 2 of his fire reapers, and they are affected by my fire attribute symbol.
What's wrong, Joey?
There's something I forgot to tell you about this tournament. There are 5 opponents in each area. And if you don't beat them all, you can't move on.
That means I just defeated you, Joey, so I have to defeat 4 more opponents.
Right. And if you clear 4 areas, a whole new path opens up.
A new path? What's that?
Like I know. Well, just keep winning. And maybe it'll all make sense later. So keep at it, buddy.
Keep at it.
Thanks, Joey. That's exactly what I'll do.
Yeah, beat their butts. See you later. A new path.
I don't know what the new path is, but we're traveling on our own road right now.
Fair enough.
No matter who we face on this road, we must win. And we'll do it together.
Yeah!
Huzzah! Friendship! Woo! Alright. After every battle, it'll make you save your game. As you can see, I have a couple of my save game files right over there. They're nice and filled to the brim. With that, that is the end of our Forbidden Capital journeys and the beginning of a new load screen. Yeah, woo! Just what I wanted. Just like that, Joey Wheeler is defeated. Next time, Tristan Taylor. Goodbye, everybody.